What qualities do you look for when you're hiring talent?
I think we value the human values more than we value skills. So we look for values in people because we think that the skills can be built. And we are involved in this business, so we know that you can build the skills. We obviously look for a certain minimum level of academic excellence, but we look for aptitude as well because we found that in programming, for example, you may have got B grades in school, but you could be a genius programmer. So we have to be mindful when we are looking for young people. But even before we look at their intellect, we will look at their sensitivity, for example. So a lot of time gets spent. We look at their basic values, what do they value, what's good and bad. And we have very interesting ways to do that. But essentially, I think we spend a lot more leadership time in our interviewing than most companies do. That is simply because it's very difficult to judge all dimensions of a person. And it's easy to do measurements on measurables, but the most crucial things are not measurable. So now even in the university system, we have a very different selection criteria than most of the leading universities in India, which is much more around panel discussions of a range of people who look for different things in young people. So looking at the softer aspects of even creativity is very difficult to measure. Social sensitivity is very difficult to measure. So those are still done, we would say, by interviewing by a range of people. And integrity is a tough one, but again, something we try and look at. Then comes the question of the skill sets, and for that there are many indicators which are usually available if someone's been there in a job before or someone studied somewhere. And then you can subject people to all kind of technical testing, which is easy to do and they're reliable tests. So the skill part is there, and then of course we invest very heavily in people when they come and when they are with us. We are a benchmark company in terms of number of days of training per employee per year that we do. Benchmark, it's 2 or 3 times the average. So, and that has to be done. If as I said, the field is changing, so we have to keep doing it. So I think the interviewing process is very rigorous, and we deal with senior level people looking at young people first to see whether okay, not okay kind of issues, and then subject them to the technical testing, not the other way around.
Any qualities or anything that raises a red flag where you say, okay, this person we're definitely not going to hire?
That's difficult to say, but I guess you can look at people who may be too arrogant, too full of themselves, who won't be good team players. I think that we definitely look at. And teamwork is perhaps, what sustains organizations, because people back up for each other and then they fill up the gaps. So then you don't need a few exceptional people. You need a lot of people who have complementarity and who can collaborate. And I think as we get into the so-called post-industrial society, collaboration between people is a very important quality in a company. So you don't want, cocky, self-centered, arrogant people. There are some roles in research, for example, if you're looking for some exceptionally bright people who will work largely alone, then there are other qualities you look for. There you may look for an arrogance, not of brusque type, but intellectual arrogance. That's still acceptable. But behavioral arrogance is not something we value. Yes, so human dignity, respect for people, to us that's very important, and you can kind of get a sense of it quite well. And we look for that.